Hello guys, welcome to the Solution Architect Show. Your host is Ben. This is episode number 5. Today I'd like to cover the 7 habits of highly effective solution architect. Stephen Covey presents an approach to being effective in attaining goals by adopting the 7 habits in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Today I'd like to cover how you can apply the 7 habits into your work as a solution architect. Let's start. Habit number 1, be proactive. So be proactive is about taking responsibility for your life. You can't keep blaming everything on your colleague, your project manager, your manager, or anyone around you. You really need to start focusing on the things that you can control. For example, if your company strategy is to use Salesforce as a CRM platform, then what you should do is you should just acknowledge that, right? So even though in your mind you might be thinking the other CRM that's better than Salesforce, although I don't think that's the case. But yeah, this is something that you realize that you acknowledge that you can't change, and then you move on. You sort of document this as a constraint. And then you're focusing on the area that what's the business trying to solve. Is that try to increase the sales for sales automation, or is that streamline the support process, right? Another example is sort of the stakeholder management, right? So you always having people that in the company is slightly harder to deal with. You acknowledge that, and what you can do is improve yourself, right? So you either increase your communication skills and learn how to talk to that person. Another way is you find a person that he trusts, that you try to talk to that person and try to explain your solution to that person. Once that person supports you, then you can let that person to talk to the other person to sort of get your design across the line. So stop blaming, focusing on the area that you have control. Habit number 2, begin with the end in mind. Habit 2 is based on the principle that all things are created twice. There's a mental creation, the first, and the physical creation, the second. So apply the second habit into the role of solution architect. So once you understand the problem, I believe you should be able to sort of visualize in your mind what the problem is and what are the potential solution is, and sort of what is in your mind, what is sort of the best way, right? And then you actually start talking to people, starting to drawing the diagram to basically translate what is in your mind into a document that you can circulate around. So I believe that's sort of the how the second habit can help you as a solution architect. Some of the questions you might need to ask is why we are doing this project, why we're using this technology. Is this like a technical solution or strategic alignment? Okay, that's a habit number 2. Number 3, put the first things first, right? So in the first habit, sort of it says you are in charge, you are the creator. Being proactive is all about choice. Habit number 2 is the first or mental creation. Beginning with the end in mind, which is all about your vision. Habit 3 is the second creation, the physical creation. This habit is where habits 1 and 2 come together. So applying the third habit into the role of a solution architect. So prioritization is vitally important in your solution design. So if your solution document will contain lots of design decisions, So you really need to understand what's the major impact. Is that a security, or is that highly high availability, or some other quality attribute that has an impact? Then you're focusing on your majority of your time to addressing that concern. For example, that if your company is going to put a online sales system, part of the solution will be able to have a payment gateway, right? That will introduce quite a lot of security concerns and maybe a financial compliance into your project. I believe you should book a certain percentage of time and also spending a certain percent of writing on how to address that sort of concern. So habit number four, think of win-win. So think about win-win isn't about being nice, nor is it about quick fix technique. It is a character-based code for human interaction and collaboration. So part of the things you should apply sort of as a solution architect is sort of in the stakeholder management. So often that you're having some sort of disagreement, but you should remember, you should always look for that win-win. Never start an argument. Why? So I think in Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People, that explained quite well. What he wrote in that book is about this is you can't win an argument. The only way to get the best possible result out of an argument is to avoid it entirely. You can't you can't really force your solution into that stakeholder, right? So you should always try to explain what's the win for that stakeholder. If a security manager, then you should explain to him, hey, this might fix a security hole. Or if it's a business, you can explain this actually improve or streamline your business processes. Habit number 5, seek first to understand, then to be understood. So I believe this isn't only applying for the role of solution architect. In fact, I use this all the time for my sort of entire life, right? So if you want to talk to your wife or talk to your friends or communicate with anybody effectively, you basically, before you try to say anything, you should just listen. Listen to what the other people try to say. Listen to what the other people's concern is. Listen to what the other people try to explain to you. Often, a new solution architect will try to impress people or try to explain his idea to other people, and he forgot the most important thing, which is understand what other people's concerns is before you can explain how your solution will address the other people's concern. Habit number 6, synergize. So this is something when I first read it, I don't really quite get it. It is kind of like the sort of the enterprise continue in the TOGAF, that you'll be like, continue, what the heck is this? The same thing for the synergize. So to put it simply, synergy means two heads are better than one. Synergize is a habit of creative cooperation. It is teamwork, open-mindedness, and the adventure of finding new solution to old problem. But it doesn't just happen on its own. It's a process, and through that process, people bring all their personal experience and expertise to the table. So apply this habit to the role of a solution architect. So you're not going to be a subject matter expert in all the fields in sort of in your company, right? You have a subject matter expert in the business processes, in the business domain. You have a subject matter expert in infrastructure or in network. So you really need to engage with those people and work together to bring the best solution possible. Habit number 7, sharpen the saw. So what this means is you need to put aside some time for learning and self-improvement. Often you might sort of burned out by the work you have and forgot to improve yourself. And this is sort of a crucial for your career development, right? So if you don't improve yourself, you're stuck on the job and you might stuck forever. So you really need to be able to spend some time on learning. What I mean is you need to be able to sort of watch some YouTube, watch some learning videos. You need to go to seminar or conferences. What it also means is you might also need to step back a bit to say, how am I going to learn how to learn things. So one of the things I learned recently is how to learn a new a language, right? So we all have this sort of MVP, which is minimal viable product concept. I want to improve a new concept called minimal viable learning. What I mean is when you learn a new language, you learn enough so that you can write an app. And then you do an app, right? And then you can continue learning it and refining your app. It's sort of learning the theory and writing code at the same time. This is the best way I find for learning a new language. Another thing I sort of learned it recently is how to read a book. So often I spend a couple months to finish a book just by reading it. Recently I started reading book by listening to audiobooks. I find this way that I can listen it on the train, on the way to work, anytime I have some sort of downtime, right? And this is very effective. But I also find out that by just listening, you only getting maybe 30 to 40% of the content. Then what I improved on is instead of reading the whole book, listening the whole book. Then I find a summary of that book, right? There's some good summary that are available over the internet, or there's actually a company that is doing that summary. So I just read the summary, right? Just recap the main concept. I find this way that instead of spending a couple months finish a book, now I can finish a book within a week. So this is something that to apply the 7 habits into practice. Okay, here is the 7 habits of highly effective solution architect. Let's recap. Habit number 1, be proactive. Number 2, begin with the end in mind. Number 3, put the first things first. Number 4, think win-win. Number 5, seek first understand, then to be understood. Number 6, synergize. Number 7, sharpen the saw. Okay, here's